I'm Gregory S.J. S.J. is short for Shah Jackson. My brand is Gregory S.J. the Global Chef. And that really sort of links me back to my background and where I am at this moment in time. And Sanka shared some amazing learnings that really resonated with me. And I feel we're so different in so many ways, and yet so many of the things he said really resonated with me as well. I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm very fortunate. I grew up in Switzerland, in Geneva. I lived in Venezuela for 4 years. My father's job took us there. And I was born in America beforehand, so I've got 3 passports. I speak several languages. But, life takes you through a journey, and you have different milestones at different times. I lost my father at the age of 2.5. So that was a big challenge to grow up with. But for the same token, I never really knew him, so I never had a sense of grief. But I noticed that my mother did have a sense of grief. And so she was a single mother raising a young boy, and I learned a lot from her, and still do, which is wonderful. And I also gained a certain passion from her. I was drawn to engineering because I have a sort of very logical mind and science background. And I worked as a management consultant after studying for many years. And then one day, I thought, what am I really passionate about? And that is cooking and eating. And so I quit my well-paid job and started working as a commis chef, which is the lowest rung in a kitchen. And I trained with Gordon Ramsay and Marcus Waring at the Savoy Grill. And the reason I started there is because of the way that Gordon Ramsay is. He has a high turnover of staff, and so as such, people leave because they thought it was going to be different, and it's very, very tough. But even though I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth, I did learn how to have a certain amount of confidence, and in the face of adversity, just go with the flow. And I was there to learn, and he gave me the opportunity to learn with not very much experience. And I felt very convicted to follow this path because I was passionate about cooking. And so I took a bold step and left my life of comfort to learn a new skill. And I think that resonates a little bit with what Sanka was saying. Leave comfort and face the fear. Fast forward a few years, I decided to leave the Gordon Ramsay group because he wasn't the kind of mentor that I wanted to become. And my mother, as I'd grown up with her, we had a very strong bond, and she had to make some money after she got divorced. And so she started cooking and making cakes for all the other mums at the school I was at. And then one person asked her to do a dinner party, and so she started cooking dinner parties for people, and then someone else asked her to do a fundraising event for their charity, and so that was a slightly larger event. And then someone asked her to prepare luncheons at the Duchy of Cornwall for Prince Charles. And so she developed this wonderful client base just on her own back and hard work and networking. And I think that's something I really learned from my mother, and it's why I was drawn to the Global Woman Club. Initially, it's networking. You're connecting with people and learning and sharing what you have to share with the world, potentially. So fast forward a little bit further, I did join my mother and worked with her for 15 years. We ran a catering company together in London, running high-end events for high net worth individuals. And it was wonderful working closely with her because we bring different skills to the table. She was very glamorous, much like Marilla, attracts clients. And then I was very logical and systematic and was able, with my business background and my catering background, able to really grow the business. But something was always missing. I was working with my mother, it was wonderful, and we were growing a business, but I wasn't really fulfilled. I was working in the right area and something I was passionate about, food and feeding people and life occasions, right? Weddings and birthdays, I love that. then the pandemic happened, and we were all stuck at home, and it was really tough for some people. It was all right for me, but I was stuck at home, and I needed to fuel my creativity and do something. And so I studied nutrition, and I also launched a backyard pizzeria. I brought my little hat here as a prop. So I started making pizzas for all the neighbors in my area, sourdough, Neapolitan-style pizzas, and I was cooking them with passion and joy, and it gave me something to do, and it also turned into business. So I started very small, just in my garage, making sourdough dough, and then selling it to my neighbors, and it grew and grew, and I eventually launched a pop-up for weddings specifically called Happily Ever After. It's a cute name, and the pizza names are also cute. One pizza is called To Love and To Chorizo Until Death Us Do Part. You Rocket My World, or I'm Nuts About You. It's a sweet pizza with Nutella and nuts. And so, that really allowed me to fuel my creativity into a project that I could, deliver some of my skills and also gain some money. I slowly stepped away from my family business. My sister's helping my mother now, so I feel that part of my life is sort of coming to an end. And 3 years ago, I launched Gregory S.J., the Global Chef, and that's why I'm really here today, to tell you a little bit about what I'm dedicated to nowadays, and that is to teach busy foodies how to cook healthy food quickly, but it also tastes delicious. And I'm very grateful to have Ian as one of my alumni. When I first launched, he signed up, and it was through our coaching community that we were both members of. There is a men-focused club to help successful men really grow into the best version of themselves, but predominantly through their relationships, to help them understand and communicate better with women specifically, be it their mothers, be it their partners, be it their daughters, but also other men. And so I, having been raised by a single mother, my understanding of masculinity and femininity was a bit blurred until I got a stepfather, and then I got some structure. But actually, as men in the modern world, we have different roles, and or rather, those roles were never really taught to us in a way that benefits the world. And my mission in life is really to help other fathers be healthier, have more energy, live longer, through eating delicious food, but also that's very nutritious. And so I think we could have a sort of question and answer session here if you like. I'm going to share you some tips for your own cooking if you like. I have opened up my program in Spain specifically, but I'm also going to open up in the English-speaking language to couples. I found that it's a wonderful way for couples to connect, cooking together, where the feminine and the masculine bring different skills to the table. Often, generally speaking, women are more intuitive cooks. They'll have learned from their mothers, and they'll bring that experience to the table, whereas the men are more willing to maybe take a risk and try something a little bit different. And so together they can be really collaborative, and I love seeing that when the couple, is a bit of challenge at the beginning, and then they end up creating something together that's delicious, which they then get to enjoy either for date night or with their family. So a few tips I'll give you now straight away to help you with your health and your cooking, and that's the main one is swaps. We use certain oils, certain salts, certain ingredients, but actually if we just switch them for a healthier version, we're going to be healthier and also enjoy the food more. And one of those is oils. So sunflower oil, corn oil, all of those are often used in frying, but they're highly processed oils. And so as you fry the food absorbs those oils, and we end up with having very nutritionally poor oils that often also are trans fats. And trans fats are the key contributor to heart disease. So an easy swap, especially nowadays, especially here in the UK, where we have access to all these healthy oils. Avocado oil is a wonderful one, high in unsaturated fats. Extra virgin olive oil, we all hopefully know, is a really fantastic oil, in the Mediterranean countries, which is generally considered one of the best diets. they eat a spoonful of it a day. They use it in cooking all the time. Now, that's a great oil to substitute to. Some people say you shouldn't fry with it. So you can cook with it at relatively low temperature. A little pan-fried fish is fine in olive oil. It's deep fat frying in extra virgin olive oil. You shouldn't do it at sustained temperatures. But switching avocado oil, as in switching sunflower oil to avocado oil, is a really easy swap you can do today, and use that oil for frying and cooking, whereas extra virgin olive oil, which is sometimes a bit more expensive as well, you might just want to use for seasoning. Another swap is salt. Table salt, cheapest salt on the shelf. If you ever look at the back of the ingredients, you'll see it's got anti-caking agent and it's got added iodine. We don't really need iodine nowadays anymore. It was added, but now we eat a lot of meat, we eat eggs, we get the iodine from other sources. Anti-caking agent is just so it doesn't stick together, but you don't want that in your body. So switch to sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. There's so many varieties of salt out there that are 100% salt. And so by switching to that, you are going to get better trace minerals. So Himalayan pink salt's actually got lower sodium, but more potassium, magnesium, which is great for hormonal health as well. And then, we always get told, oh, you shouldn't have too much salt. You get high blood pressure. Well, actually, the body needs a certain amount of salt whenever you drink water as well to hydrate it. Salt acts as electrolyte to absorb the water better into our bodies. And so a very easy switch is to spend a little bit more on sea salt. And you can, like TK Maxx, if you look in the food section of TK Maxx, they always sell really good quality French salt, dirt cheap, like 2-3 quid for a kilo. And Sel de Guérande is a French grey salt, really high in those trace minerals I was talking about. It's a really tasty salt as well, so that's a really easy win. And finally, there's an app that I like to recommend, because we go into a supermarket here in the UK and you get told high in protein, low in fat, plant-based, and you think, oh, okay, it's healthy. I'm going to go for that. And then invariably it doesn't necessarily work, because it's just a marketing ploy. So how do you know what foods are actually good for us and maybe for your family? I use it a lot to, my daughter said, I want to eat that cheese string. I'm like, oh. And so this app is called Yuka, or Y-U-K-A. And it's by a team in France who really research all these products. And you just scan the barcode and instantly it'll give you a red, green rating. And if it's green, then it's good. And it'll tell you why it's red. So it might say it's high in calories. Well, it's okay. If you're working out, then you can have a few calories. But it might say it's high in hazardous additives. And these are the hidden ingredients that we don't always know much about, the binding agents. And so if you see those hazardous additives, stay away. But if it's high in calories, you can make a choice. Okay, well, I'm going to treat myself. If it's just a bit of extra calories, I'll deal with that. But it's those hazardous ingredients that we don't know much about. So if you have any men in your life, or if you want to maybe cook with a partner, then I'd be very happy to chat and maybe see if you want to join the Cooking Smarter, Not Harder program.